Lights in the family room. I have to figure out how to turn off the lights in the family room before Friday. So what I have here, if I just list out the terms, I have a positive y. I have a positive 3x. I have a negative 3. I have a positive 2x squared. I have a positive 8x. And I have a negative 5y. This is not minus. I mean, it's written like minus. But what it was and a negative 5y. And somebody got lazy, and instead of writing plus a negative, they changed it into looking like minus. Remember, we said this is minus or it's negative, because sometimes minus doesn't really make sense. Because if I group up and move my like terms to be with each other, if I have 5y, does it make sense to take away, if I have a y, does it make sense to take away 5? Not really, because I can't do that, quote unquote. But what I can do is have a good guy, 1y, fight with a bad guy, 5y. Who's going to win, the good guy or the bad guy? Bad guy by how much? 4.
Why does everybody hate my opinion about minuses? Because, I always just write minus instead of plus negative because it's easier to write.
But is it easier to understand?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this and get negative 4y. That's fine. It is also able to be used as a minus. But if that doesn't make sense, because technically speaking, I can't take away 5 from 1. Well, we can because we go negative, right? We know that we can go negative. We can go past 0. We can go into debt. So then if I put my x values together, 8x and 3x, 11x, and my x squared has no friends, so it just goes down as part of the answer. My negative 3 has no one else there to join up with, so it just goes down as part of my answer.
That's exactly what it is.
It should be friends with the x.
So the technical better order to write this in is x squared first because it's got a higher power, then go alphabetical x, then y, which you could do minus 4y or negative 4y, and then your constants. Notice how I wrote a negative on one of them and a minus on the other to use both techniques. Well, I can't see you right now because your hand's not up, but I see that hand. Jordan?
Can you change x's into squares?
No, Jordan.
What? Like this? Can you change an x into an x squared? Yes. However, the only way to do it is multiply by x, which you would have to do on both sides of an equation. Otherwise, you break stuff, you change it. Because if I come in and I multiply you by 2, your height, your weight, I change you. Or you are changed. If I multiply this part, if I do something, I'm changing it. I'm not allowed to do that. Now, in an equation, you can essentially do anything you want. But here, no, this x cannot join up with this x squared because they're different. This is a square. This is a length.
Can't you make it?
No. How can I take this and turn it into this? It changes. I would change stuff, and that changes the problem. That's not what we have. That does not work. You are not. If you want the easy answer, no, you can't do that. Stop trying. I'm trying to give you the full honest answer. Sometimes that's too complicated. I mean, you could change variables into whatever you want. You could draw smiley faces, like I said. Anna.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I thought so.
Or you could turn them into Mr. Hudson's.
Here, back at the answers. Everyone should be looking at answers because I need a drink because my throat hurts.
Do that thing where someone else teaches the class again.
Oh, Mr. Hudson, to add on to what you said, you can also see it when you use algebra tiles.
Yeah.
You know how it's a line and then a block?
Yeah.
And that can help.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we go back to talking about algebra tiles, remember, like, x's and x squareds do not look the same. Right? X's and x squareds do not look the same. I cannot add them. There's no amount of x's that equal x squared in, well, x's, right? Like x times x. But we don't know what x is, so we don't know how many that is. So no, those are non-like terms. They cannot be combined with each other. 2x squared stays alone. 11x, negative 4y, negative 3, or you can say minuses, whatever.
Can't you take away 2 x's from the equation and then add them?
It's not an equation. It's an expression. It's an expression. There's no equals. You're mixing up rules. This is an expression, not an equation. Lily?
Even if you did multiply everything by x, you still couldn't combine it because the x squared would become an x cubed.
That's why I just ended up going with the short, easy answer, saying no, don't do that. Because it would change literally everything. So yeah, what Lily's saying is true. I just decided to stop going down the complicated path. Everything gets changed. If you try to change one thing, everything gets changed. And then it was dumb because now I still can't do what I tried to do because everything got changed.
Mr. Hudson, what was the answer for C?
They're up there.
For 4 again?
For 4? 9.
No.
Oh, negative 62. Sorry, negative 62. Back to the rest of it. Any other questions? I mean, it meant that you felt like writing in that moment. I love reading your guys' writing. Seriously. And I will say, I do relay that information to Mrs. Goldring when I'm like, hey, this person really needs to work on using punctuation. Not in this class, but a student of mine gave a really good, accurate, mathematically correct response. But it was talking about adding positive and negative numbers. And they said, when you add a positive and negative number, you could get 0. But if you they had 8 buts. I was like, you need some punctuation, right? That's too many buts. You got that many buts and things start to get stinky. Jake, I think you need to move up in class because you obviously can't read. Grab 412. See how it says examples from class? Guess what? We're doing the same thing we've been doing. Take at least 5 minutes with your team to try to figure out what figure 0 and figure 4 looks like for each of these. Hey, Max just pointed out something to me that if you don't draw figure 4 in the right spot, you're going to run out of space. So plan that out, right? I'm trying to be nice to you guys and make this not all. Hey, hold up. I'm trying to be nice to you guys and make this not all have to be on graph paper. But for each of these, I would start at the furthest right and bless you. Make sure you have enough space to fit it. And down here in tile 4, figure pattern, whatever we call it, please add this. I'm not very good at checking or proofreading my work. There is one square on top. Please go ahead and finish drawing that. I chopped it off when I cut these pictures. Sorry, I'm a human. I make mistakes. I make these notes. My apologies. I could really just leave this up, I guess. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks good to me.
And I hit figure 3. That's what I was doing.
Oh, it doesn't matter if they run into each other. This is mainly for you. Like, I'm not checking this. Yeah, you could add. Just add beyond the grid.
We're using the analogy of having the blocks be Lego bricks and studs.
Yep. Nice. I dig it. You what? My playlist?
No, your hat.
My hat? I was about to say, I got a playlist going for the canteen. It's happening. I just got to figure out how to turn the lights off. All right. The playlist that Mrs. Howard's having you guys create is getting communicated to me, and I am picking music off of there. So, random cards. Thank you. I play a lot of card games. Guys, I'm, like, outside of school, I do approximately 3 things. Active stuff I like disc golf, rock climbing, mountain bike, board games, and woodworking. That's pretty much my life.
Hey, you want to play poker?
Max?
So you're doing like all of the music from the playlist?
No. There won't be enough time, so we're going to pick and choose from there. So, Amelia, if we look at figure 0 here, what's it look like?
Figure 0? It's just 2 blocks.
Just like that?
No, the other way.
You said just 2 blocks.
Yeah, I know. Because I forget,
Oh, you mean 2 squared. That?
No.
No? Wait, just... Oh, just 2 blocks stacked on...
That's the word I was looking for.
Vertical, horizontal,
So just 2.
Yeah, just 2.
Okay, so then, and I doubt you guys did this because I didn't tell you, write a 2 up here. How many tiles?
Below it?
Sure. On top has more space, but I'm not here to say no.
What if you got it wrong? Because I did 2 tiles like they're like diagonal.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this together. So I think how Amelia saw that growth, so go ahead and fix it is what I mean, if you accidentally did that wrong, is comparing pattern 1 to 2, or sorry, not pattern, but figure 1 to 2, the blocks out here extend, and the blocks in the middle extend.
Just like that.
So whether they extend to the left or to the right, this gets wider, and my arms get longer, right, or whatever you want to call this. So if we reverse that process, and guys, if you don't have a highlighter, it's really helpful for your brain to do this. If we keep that process going backwards, it lets us be able to see what would be left for figure 1, right? If we said this is all new this time, if we go out to figure 3 and say this is all new this time, then you can see that the previous figure is what didn't get shaded. Right? The previous figure is what didn't get shaded. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. What do we see is happening? We're growing by 4s, right? and we said figure 0 had 2. So, Aharon, would you like to venture a guess at what our equation would be here? You will pass. Brenda,
Yes.
would you like to venture a guess at what our equation would be here?
Yeah. No.
Go ahead.
X plus 1 in parentheses times 2 plus 2x.
Whoa, that's complicated. I think we can make it way
I
easier
did it
than that.
differently.
I know, but like, I think you're right, but that's complicated. And I'm feeling kind of lazy today because I was here till 8 last night. What did we say is happening here?
Plus 4.
Plus 4 every time.
Previous plus 4. So P plus 4.
But we can't use the previous as a reference point because we'd have to go all the way back to figure 1 to know what we start with. So that's why we say, figure 0, thank you. We can say that we start with 2 tiles and we gain 4 tiles every time we move forward. If you distribute and simplify in group-like terms, I bet what you have is a 2 and a 4x.
Yeah, I saw the middle part as
I agree with what you saw, 100%. Yeah, guys, and I did this last week at one point and totally failed, and I went home and told my wife I'm a bad teacher, and she was like, yeah, you are. That's a joke. Sorry, if you guys think I'm serious, my wife used to be a teacher, we have a really good relationship. I'm being facetious, right? But I did go home and I'm like, man, my lesson failed. She was like, don't worry, you'll get it next time. We saw the growth. We identified the growth. We said, this is growth. And we saw what we started at. We saw what we started at, and we said, start at 2, grow by 4, and do it as many times as you need. How we're going to start to write this is in the form... We're going to start to write this in the form of growth times x plus what you started with. But right now, if it helps you to write what you started with, then the growth times x. Because, guys, how many times do we grow by 4? Well, it depends how many figures we've gone. Continue this technique with your other tile patterns. Of once you have figure 0 and once you identify the growth, we should be able to write out an equation for it. Keep going. I'm going to give you another 5 minutes probably. What do you mean what? I need to give you guys time to work. I love just highlighting things. It's like math class became art class all of a sudden. Yes, pumpkin drop is tomorrow. I'm not sure. Mrs. Pettigrew's probably working on it as we speak. Hey, if you feel like giving a random thank you to somebody, Mrs. Pettigrew has been in charge of the pumpkin drop pretty much mainly, and she also mainly makes all our different schedules, which is pretty complicated and a lot of math. So if you want to give a random thank you to somebody, next time you see Pettigrew, just give her a thank you for all her hard work on pumpkin drop, or thank you for being the schedule master. Just it's cool to just randomly thank people. Jordan?
Did you say include math? Because she says she's not good at math. Yeah.
They're she's good at schedule math.
She wants me to be her tutor.
She has.
Jordan told me to get better. Wait, mister. Yeah. Long story. Yeah. Miss Goldring said it. I'm sorry. You said there was a funny story yesterday about something. I forget what.
I don't know if I remember, but I doubt we have time today because we're definitely not moving that fast. Oh, now I remember what you're talking about, but it was just the fact that Mr. Combs doesn't remember as much math as his daughter needed him to remember.
Oh, you're talking about this.
Yeah, when we texted back and forth for an hour. Essentially, we got in an argument about what is X and what is Y, and I said it's all made up anyways, and he didn't like that. Because I said X could be Y and Y could be X, and really all of them could be purple elephant, and it wouldn't matter. You can call things whatever you want to call them. Right? You could call the Y-axis the purple elephant axis, and the X-axis the the amount of circuses axis. Like Lily, when you think about figure 0, sorry, I only have like 6 minutes and we're going off the rails talking about purple elephants. What would figure 0 look like here?
Figure 0 would just be a
Single
single 1 square.
1 square. Jordan, what are we gaining as we move forward?
4.
Because this is 5, this is 9, this is 13.
17. 4 every time.
So, ooh, I don't know why I wrote that. It's because somebody said 17 and teen got in my head. Aw, Malachi, we miss you. Maddie, well, I just had to remove his card from the class, which is sad. I'm gonna hit. All right, moment of. All right, Malachi passes. Aiden passes. Max right. I'm not gonna cut him up, guys. I keep this set of cards, and like actually last year's set of cards I now gave to one of the 8th graders because I found them and she's like, "Oh, can I have those?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Like I don't know, it's fun to look back at your handwriting and think about you guys. No, at least not this year. Max right. Sorry, I pulled Max's card and then we started talking and then I pulled Nevin's card. So Nevin, you're next. Max, do you know what equation we would write here then?
Oh, that's easy.
Whoa! I know you do that on purpose, but continue.
I'm sorry. It's an equation that is not as heart-taking and stressifying.
So what would we write?
It's stressful as other equations similar to it. It is x plus 1.
X plus 1.
No, wait.
That's why you got to be careful throwing out that bad word. There it is. 4x plus 1.
Your little orange dots messed me up because I saw them as different things.
If you think any of the words, you have to get the equation right.
So are you going to go to Dublin and not anytime somebody's like easy, like have this visceral reaction of like, they said a bad word. So add 4 every time. How many times? However many times we need to. That's why we say 4x. Now hold up. Pause. Pause. Who's got questions right now? This is the growth that happens as many times as we move forward. X is taking the place of the figure number. So here, x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3. So when we get to situations like them saying, predict how many tiles will be in the 50th, this is now much less heart-taking than previous, because we can just say 4 times 50 for the 50th pattern. What's 4 times 50? 200 plus 1, and we would get 201. Just like that, it almost feels like the bad word. I didn't say it. All right, we got to wrap these up because we're running out of time. I see 2, I see 3, I see 4, so I'm pretty sure this is growing off the top of here. Nevin, sorry, your card was next. What other growth should I highlight?
The one on the right.
Yeah, the column on the right, right?
Don't even make that joke. I've heard that joke so many times about my name. What? The column on the right, right?
So you'd rather I left that out? So Nevin. So Jake, what would be in figure 0?
3.
Just these 3, right? That didn't get highlighted? So then, Patrick, you want to make a stab at the equation?
Yes. Okay, so based on the previous one, it would be also 4x plus 3.
Ooh, also 4x because the growth is 4, but it's plus 3 because we start with 3. Any questions? Now, this one kind of seems like the Funky Bunch, but this is like if I built a tree house on the ground and then tried to lift it up into my tree, right? We're getting higher off the bottom, higher off the bottom. So what am I gaining every time? Yeah, this gets really funky when I try to draw it. These, right, if I keep going up the pattern, these were gained at figure 1. So what's left in figure 0, Mr. McNeil? 3, right, vertically. So since the growth is 2, we're going to call this 2x plus 3. Hold up, I still got a couple minutes. That's your practice work. Yeah, I'm sorry. They did that on purpose. No, we can't check the homework. Here's the deal. The copier does not like me. This is obvious due to this paper. It's supposed to look like graph paper. And it's even more obvious when I hand you the next set of homework. But it is getting too complicated for me to keep track of who's got their homework and who doesn't. And I'm going through too many extra copies. If you already have 413, 414, please tell me you don't need this. Otherwise, I'm giving you the next homework just so I know some of you are ready to move on. But the copy machine does not like me. So this is your graph space. But guys, this is from class. You don't need to do any of this while you're at home. We're going to do all of this tomorrow. But, like, don't worry about this. We'll deal with the fact that it looks like awkward plaid. Huh? No, we haven't checked 412. How many times do I have to say it? You are welcome. If you already have this, yeah, please make sure you tell me. If you already have, put your name on this right now. Put your name on this right now. This would go into current work. Because it's what we're currently doing. It's like commercial game. I'm going to remind you a couple more times before the end of the day. Especially you can start looking ahead. Sorry, I was talking to you. I heard you at any time. I heard you. I just didn't process it. Yeah, the homework tonight's 412. This is in the future. This is because people are asking. It's because I changed it. Guys, I changed the homework assignments for the week, which is why every day I have this up here. We extended 411 to both days. We extended 411 to both days. Who else needs homework? Did I miss anyone? Right? That's how I feel too. You could like knock those out in one night. Alright, have a great day, guys. I mean, I can, but you probably gotta learn math from your new teachers. I know, right? And then if you lose it, that was the other thing I started thinking about. If you lose a packet of 2 homeworks, it's not that big of a deal. You lose a packet of 5 homeworks, holy cow. Just take me now. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye, Brenda. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you. Goodbye, Russell. I will see you at extensions.